Hey everybody, this is Ben here with the .5 Patrol, and this is the official install video for the new wide open throttle performance hood strut kit for both the FK8 and the FL5 Civic Type R. We're going to go ahead and get started right away. I'll also post a list of these tools in the video description. The first step obviously is to pop the hood. So the next step here, you're going to see this hole. It's the front hole. There's a back hole and a front hole, and you're going to place one of your rib nuts there into the front hole. So this is a rib nut tool that I picked up from a local auto parts store. I'm going to show two different tools. This is the cheapest one, and I got it for around 10 bucks. So I've installed the rib nut on the end of this, and you simply do that by threading it in and turning clockwise. And you thread it all the way to the top of the larger outer hex here. We're then going to reinsert this in our hole. I've got a 4mm hex key with a 3/8 to 1/4 inch adapter on my gun, and this is a 16mm wrench. And to install it, you're going to press down firmly with the gun. And then you reverse it after you feel it compress. And now you've installed your rib nut permanently, and now you have a threaded hole here. The next step is to install this piece, the lower ball, and it goes in this orientation on the FL5 Type R. Now if you drive an FK8, you actually rotate it and it will be installed in this direction. This image here shows the orientation for the Civic Type R FK8. Using the supplied washer, we're going to place that over our rib nut. We're going to start our threads here with the bolt that's supplied with the kit. And I'm going to start to tighten that down. And I'm going to hold this orientation straight as I can. And then I'm going to come back with a 3mm hex, and we're going to tighten this down. So here's the finished orientation and installation of the lower ball. The next step is to install the upper ball. And to do that, you go into the top hole here in the hood. Now the orientation for the FL5 is facing inward, like this. For the FK8, you simply face it outwards. Installation is made easy with a 12mm wrench and a 12mm socket, and that's it installed. The next step is to open up the clasps using a small flathead screwdriver, and as you can see there, I've moved it up and away, and you're going to do that on both sides. So you get in here with your screwdriver and you kind of pry until it's out of the way, like so. And then it's time to install. So you put it on your bottom one first, and then it's going to be slightly difficult. You need to get in there and you need to pull the clasp back until you hear it snap. And then it's time to attach to the upper. So it does help to have a helper. You don't necessarily have to have one, but I still have the hood strut holding the hood up, the factory hood strut, the prop. And in order to get the top of the wide open throttle strut in, you may have to adjust the height of the hood just a little bit to get it to line up. And so you can either have a second hand for that, or just have your hand on top of the hood so that you can get it exactly where you need it, so that you can get everything to line up and pop into place. So I'm going to demonstrate with a different tool how you can install a rib nut using this type of tool rather than the tool that I used on the other side. One thing of note though is that the orientation is identical on this side as it is on the other side. You're going to want to have your ball joint forward facing and to the inside, and your upper ball facing to the inside. And if you have an FK8, you're going to want to reverse that. You're going to have your ball out to the outside both at the bottom mounting point and at the top mounting point like I showed you earlier. So with this tool, you take the supplied rib nut and you thread it on, and you simply insert it into the hole and squeeze the handle. You can keep your factory prop rod if you want to. In my case, I've chosen to keep mine. You do have the two options. One is just, you know, the lowest one here. And then you have the higher one for service mode. And I do use service mode from time to time. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to have to remove this top portion from the ball joint here, just using that flathead screwdriver to push over the clip, and it will pop off. You'll do that on both sides, and then you can get the hood high enough to enter service mode. Some of you may choose to remove the prop rod. And to do that, you simply push the clip through here, and then you're going to have to kind of bend it out of the way. And it's just that easy. Installation takes as little as 10 minutes with the proper tools. You may need to go out and buy something. I did have to go out and buy this rib nut tool, as well as this rib nut tool, just so that I could demonstrate the different ways that you could do this. This one is about $35 on Amazon. This one's about $10 at your local auto parts store. This is an M5 rib nut tool, and this one came with more sizes.